Jim, is it Stokoe?
Yes, it's Stokoe.
Pronounced Stokoe, yeah?
It is pronounced Stokoe. It's a Viking name.
Viking name? We're off to a flying start already, people. He's a Viking.
Oh, well, the thing is, in Sweden, it's pronounced Stobo. And in Norway, it's pronounced Stoker. It means only one thing: stout-hearted. That's what it means. So I am straight, honest, stout-hearted. I'm not that little short, fat idiot that everybody thinks I am.
So welcome along. Thanks for giving up some of your time, mate.
No problem. I love you, Darren.
I love you too, mate. And everyone loves you. Off air, we were just talking about your involvement in creating Tiswas, or helping launch Tiswas, a Saturday morning TV show. Can you just, for the viewer listeners, just go over that again, because I'm blown away by it.
Well, I was in charge of the presentation and promotions area, the on-air at TV, and then at Central afterwards. And we had a small studio, a presentation studio, that nothing was going out on a Saturday morning.
It wasn't being used.
It wasn't being used, and you can't make money out of something that you don't use. Right. So I said, I had 2 kids then. Well, I still have them, but they've gone.
Yeah, you didn't sell them or anything, right?
No. And what I said is, why don't we? It's a Saturday morning. Who have we got that can watch? Kids and probably students still drunk from the night before. But why don't we do stuff that nobody else can do? Why don't we do stuff that the BBC would never be allowed to do? Like, put your hands down below the desk, grab a kid by his ears and pull him up and say, what do you want?
You can't do that now.
and they said, okay, how are we going to do this? And I'd say, well, let's get together, all the misfits like me. And we ended up, I was given Peter Harris and a couple of other people. Now, you won't have heard of Peter Harris, but you will have heard of Tiswas, OTT, The Muppet Show, Jim Henson's Animals, etc. And he is the guy who produced and directed all of that. He was given the job as a director on the day that my first son was born. I was in the director boards at the time, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to see my son being born.
Yeah.
He rang me up and said, Jim, because you withdrew, they gave it to me. Not true at all. They gave it to him because he was great, wonderful. I needed people to be in the show, and Chris Tarrant was in the newsroom, and he was probably the worst news reporter you've ever seen.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind you saying that.
He used to walk through my office, and as he walked through the office, he used to say, hello, Stokoe. Another person that his was 16 years old. He came in to do an audition for a talent show.
Yep.
He was walking along the corridor. As he walked along the corridor, he was practicing these voices. And I was going to the canteen, and I walked past him, and I stopped, turned around and said, where did you learn to do that? And he said, I just know how to do it. And I said, really? And I said, if I said I'd like you to come on television, what would you do? He said, I'd do whatever you told me. I said, I want you to come on television and be mad. What's your name? He said, Lenny Henry.
Lenny Henry, I knew it. How did you make that leap then from the television thing? What happened or decision you made that got you into entertaining, and where did that actually start, from stepping from behind the camera, as it were, and going in front of it?
It was always there. I at the age of 13, I was told by my mates, we're going to be in a group and you are going to be the bass player. And I said, I don't know how to play bass. He said, well, you need to. You've got a gig in 2 weeks' time. So at age 13, I became an entertainer.
Because you were pretty much forced to learn to play bass in a band.
I was forced to learn to play bass. At that time, I was playing with a guy called Alan Price. It's a name that people won't know now, but Alan Price was the keyboard player in the Animals. He was at my school, and somebody had said to him, get Jim, because he might not be the best bass player in the world. I went to see them last week, and do you know what he did? He ran up the steps, up the stack of PAs, and he stood right on the top of the PA playing this bass, and then he shouted, "Oi! How am I going to get down?"
And that was it, you were up there for the rest of the performance.
All we did was instrumentals. And I said, no, bands have got to have a singer, right? John, the lad's name was John Errington. John, you're going to be the singer in the band. And he said, no, I can't sing. I won't sing. I can't sing. No. And he had long blonde hair. And he used to stand like this, right, with his guitar.
Yeah.
And his blonde hair over there, and he was in a world of his own.
Yeah.
And I said to him, okay, here's the deal. In 2 weeks' time, we've got a gig, a big gig. It was at the Club of Go-Go in Newcastle. You are our lead singer, or the band is dead.
Yeah.
You've got no job. No way.
Wow.
It's no con. Now, he did sing, and you might know him under the name that he changed to when he went solo. He was my lead guitarist for 7 years, from the age of 13. And he had one or two little nibbles, and he kept giving me this song. And I said, it will never go. It will never go. That song will never go. It's a mixture of classical music and rock and roll. Nobody will want it. So after I left, he released it as John Miles. Music is my first love.
Wow, that was him.
That was him. John Errington became John Miles. Do you know what, Darren? It was always my ambition, and I achieved my ambition 3 years ago. I went to a club, I set up all of the gear, I knew roughly what it was I was going to do. So I did a sound check, 3 numbers, one after the other, checking all my instruments, because I have usually nine instruments on stage with me. And I do my instruments, check the mixer, check everything. And I achieved my ambition. After all the gigs that I have done all my life, I had never, until 3 years ago, had a round of applause for a sound check. Yes!
You didn't want to come up. That's it. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out. Like, after then you start taking your kit down.
Yeah.
No, that was just a sound check.
No, not yet. No.
You're not allowed.
It goes downhill from here, man.
That's it. You're not. You wanted to go for a quick pee and a drink, right? No, you're not now.
I was working with brilliant musicians, brilliant composers, all the time for a number of years, and I was writing music for television, I was writing music for adverts, I was going backwards and forwards to America, and I was writing music for the networks. I was working for Central, or I was working for ATV, I'm sorry, and Central did for the Midlands franchise, and they got it, and then they had to be something different. When they were talking at ATV, when they were going to be become central, they were talking about how they were going to do it. What would they need to do? And believe you me, it's more complicated than anything that I'm going to say. And they were very, very, very clever people
Yeah.
doing this. Apparently, there was a meeting between the chief executive officer and the managing director. And one of them said to the other, do you know, I think the answer might be Jim Stokoe. And the other one said, do you know what? If the answer's Jim Stokoe, it must be a bloody strange question. So I was asked to do the ident music for Central Television. So what I actually did was I wrote a suite of music that lasted from 1983 until 1996, I think.
Right.
And it was the central theme music for all of their idents and whatever. But the difference is that I wrote in all of the genres I could think of, from ska and reggae to jazz to big band.
Did all these different versions of it.
So that it could be used over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
Darren, I never wanted to do anything else except play football or play music, right? Now, my family, the Stokoes, are very, very well known in the world of football. Bob Stokoe, my uncle, was a Newcastle United player.
Right.
He was the Sunderland manager when they won the FA Cup. Right. Well, my grandfather played for Swindon. And
Right.
he then moved from Swindon to Derby County. Right.
Okay.
And that there is the first gold medal that he ever won. And it never leaves me, because he gave that to me.
Wow.
And he gave me a piece of advice at the same time. And he said, because I said to him, what should I do? Should I play football or should I play music? And he said, I can't tell you. It's your choice.
Yeah.
What I can tell you, mate, is how to be happy.
Yeah.
How can you be happy? Tell me, Grandpa.
Yeah.
And he said, get somebody to pay you for doing something you would do for nothing anyway.
Yeah.
Football and music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I became a footballer, and I'm so pleased that I have all of the recollections that I have of playing football.
How far did you get with your football career?
I played for Newcastle Colts, and then I went to Arsenal, and then I broke both my legs.
You broke your legs.
I was fast at the time, and I was running at speed on a very, very wet, soggy, muddy ground. The goalkeeper dropped on the ball, and at the same time he dropped on my feet, and both the knees were, both of my knees had compound fractures. I got an opportunity later to go back to Newcastle, and I talked to my grandfather again, and I said I got an opportunity, and what would he do? What would he do? And he said, were you happy playing football? I said, yeah, ecstatic. He said, are you happy playing music? Yes, ecstatic. And he said, you've had a go at the football, have a go at the music.
Yeah, yeah.
The music will give you a lifetime of pleasure. Football will only give you until you may be 36.
If you're lucky. Yeah.
Well, he was a charlatan, my grandfather, because every time he got transferred, every time he changed to another team, he took a couple of years off his age. And he ended his career as captain of Durham City, and he said he had his best season ever. And they said to him, his name was Jim Stokoe, by the way.
Right, yeah, yeah.
They said to him, Jim, you need to come in and talk to us about next year. And he said, yeah, I'd love to do that. I've had the best season ever. Hasn't it been great? We've been, they said, yes, we agree. We agree. But your age, your age. And he said, well, what do you mean? He said, we can't really be seen to have a captain that's 39 years old. He said, give it a week. Come back in and you can talk to me, and we'll sort something out. And a week later, he went back in, and he said, okay, what are we going to do?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
said, Jim, we've actually looked at all the paperwork in great detail. Why didn't you tell us you were 49, not 39?
Brilliant. And he's like, foiled.
That's it. And he said, you know, everybody has got the right to be young and exciting and vibrant and inexperienced or whatever.
Bravo.
Or to be an absolutely fabulous person at 19.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be given the gigs that they get.
Absolutely. I've seen a lot of talent out there that don't get a break, and then I've seen a lot of people that just happen to know the right people in the right places. If you haven't got a talent, if you haven't got a natural ability, go and find something and learn it and become good at it, as good as you can be at it.
I learned to play 9 instruments. I then, unfortunately, had something happen to me and I had a brain tumour.
Oh,
And
right.
I lost a lot of memories. I didn't know how to play bass
Wow.
anymore. I didn't know. Well, first thing is I had to learn how to walk. So that was interesting.
When was this, Jim?
It was 16 years ago.
So only was it that kind of like halted what you'd been up to that point? Because something
Yeah.
like that, it's life changing, obviously. So was
Well,
it?
it changed my life, and you know, when you look at having a life, when the option is not having a life, there is no way that you wouldn't choose a life.
Yeah.
So I chose a life, and I chose to see the best that I possibly could in other people, in myself, if I could find it, but to try to live every day in some kind of fulfilling way. It doesn't need to be big. It
No.
doesn't need to be wonderful. You know, if you like cream donuts, then have your cream donut.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I'm not saying go out and be a glutton. Don't
No.
put on 25 stone or whatever.
Yeah.
But if that's something that you like, people were saying to me, you can't just not do anything.
Yeah.
You can't just not do anything. And my wife went out and bought me a bass guitar. And I said, why did you do that? I can't play it. And my son said, right, I've got to talk to your friends. Talk to your friends and ask them how to learn to play this thing. And I could play one song, and that's all that would come. So I have a friend called Derek Holt. He's one of the best bass players I've ever heard, and he's one of the people that I've written with over the years.
Yeah.
And he is amazing. I remember him talking about Jacob Astorius, Weather Report, etc., who was probably at that time the best bass player in the world. And I said, Derek, how can I just learn to play again? I don't want to play like Jacob. I just want to play like, who do you reckon, who would you say is the best bass player you know? And Derek said to me. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And he said, hell, how could I expect anybody else to reckon that I was good if I didn't reckon myself? That's my problem, Derek. You know that I used to be able to do this. How can I do it again? And he said, don't try and learn it.
Yeah.
Find a song you like.
Yeah.
Put your hands on the bass and feel it.
Yeah.
Just feel it. And eventually it will come. And eventually it did come. But I can play you things that I recorded 20 years ago, and I can play you things that I would record this week. And I'm a different bass player.
Wow.
I am totally different.
I could talk to you all day. I could really talk to you all day. And
No, my problem is, Darren, I can talk to anybody else all day.
yeah.
So it's not a problem.
And that's the thing. And that's why you're a people person, Jim. That's why people love you, because you're just relatable. And I wanted to find out about these stories you've just been telling, and I think we could probably do a whole series of them. So I might be approaching you.
No, wait a minute, Darren.
Yeah.
I have already done 9 shows, Jim and Ori. Right? I did them with Sarah Jane Morley.
Right.
For Toot. And every story has got a piece of music that goes with it. Can I just say goodbye to everybody in case I never get to see you ever again?
You get. On that note, I'll see you later.
All right.